Fall camp's great. I think that this has been, we've got a really good culture on the team. We are developing, I was just talking about this just a second ago, we're developing a lot of older guys, senior leadership. We've been senior heavy the last few years, and so some of these guys, like from my unit, Pat and Ferg, really growing and developing in their leadership and pushing some of the young guys. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very competitive on both sides of the ball, a lot of back and forth, which is generally a really good sign.
What's it like for you coaching just a younger squad this time around?
So I think that we've brought in, Coach Lane's done an unbelievable job of bringing in the right guys, and so when you're bringing in the right people, obviously talent's a prerequisite, right? But also character, right, and intelligence and things like that, right? It's fun to integrate those guys into our culture, right, and into our practice and see what those guys can do. We've got a lot of guys that really want to. Some of them are still learning. Like college football is a lot harder than it was in high school, and daggum, some of these other guys are pretty freaking good. So got to go out and compete. It's been fun.
Any of those people that have stood out that's already caught your eye that are looking pretty good, catching on really quick?
I think we got a bunch. I think we do. I can really only speak for the tight ends. I think we got Rogers done a really good job for us. He's integrated himself into the room really well. He's very competitive, and guys like Ferg and Pat have pushed him to be better. And so it's been a lot of fun having him in there.
What's a guy like Patrick mean to this room?
Patrick Herbert is the epitome of toughness. You can't. This is a guy that doesn't say a whole lot, that does the right thing, misses very, very, very rare assignments, is prepared, plays through injury, he's banged up, doesn't care, breaks his finger in the middle of practice, doesn't care, right, will not put on a red jersey, right, he is an awesome human being. So for our room, there's kind of no, between him and Ferg, there's nowhere to go, you know what I mean, you kind of stand out if you're not about it and about coming to work every single day.
What have you seen from just Kenyan's overall growth from when he showed up last spring and now in a full year in the system?
So I think for a lot of young guys, you get by in high school by eating Doritos and showing up to practice just because, give me a Coke or a Dr. Pepper and I'm good to go. You really can't do that here. So Kenyan shows up. He was never really like that, but learning how to prepare and get his body right. So he came in at, it's like 218, 219. He's 240. Still looks fantastic. Grows. He's kind of like Pat and Ferg. Doesn't say a whole lot. Prepares very, very well. So he's awesome, right? And to see where he's grown, just knowledge-wise, within the room, but also the relationships that have grown within that room. Kind of like the quarterback unit. Sometimes there's only one tight end on the field, right? And so our philosophy has been never you, never me, always us. And so you're cheering for all of those guys. And so Kenyan's out there on the field. You're going to get 88 and 3 cheering as hard as they can for him to make that play. And the same thing when 18's out on the sideline, right? You're going to hear him say, "Let's go, Pat." "Let's go, Ferg," right? And because of that, 83, Rogers done the same thing. So Kenyan's been awesome. Really excited about where he's at.
There are a lot of expectations, a lot of hype for Kenyan. How have you kind of seen him dealt with that expectations, that newfound attention on him this year?
Kenyan's a very humble kid, and I think guys like the redheaded guy over here, Terrence Ferguson, keep him humble. Not in a bad way, but just remind him what it takes to prepare to play and to keep his body right. So the culture in that room is really, really good, and I'm thankful for 88 and 3 because at times I feel like they do a lot of the coaching for me, which is pretty cool.
Back to Patrick real quick. What's the trickle down of having a guy that experience and also maybe that stoic as a leader in the room, and maybe just not just tight end room, but maybe team wide?
Pat's never going to be the rah-rah guy. I mean, if you guys been here for a while, Justin's really not a big talker either. Apparently he's learning to do this a little bit more. He's getting paid for some of those commercials. So, whenever I point out Pat's, prepared, right? Like he's got notes, we have a hydration test. He never fails, he is, it's just like, why are you not more like that? Like, look at this guy, right? Here's like, oh, my something, whatever hurts. And I was like, well, he's had 2 knee surgeries. He's got, a shoulder, right? He's fought through everything, right? You don't see him complaining. And so when they look at Pat, and Pat's like, you're going to be all right, like you're going to fight through it. And so when you're a young guy too, and you're learning to battle through all of these things and grow through all of these things, it's nice to have somebody in there that's a calming presence, but a very serious presence, because this is very serious business. So it's been great.
What will be the key, Drew, to Terrence meeting all the potential that's there? Like, you'll feel satisfied, you'll feel accomplished with his results in January. What will it take for you to feel like you got the most out of somebody who's got a lot of ability?
Yeah, I think when you're talking about that, that's kind of a result-oriented way of thinking. We don't do that. Like, I think that the biggest thing is like, what can we get better at today? And then, if we focus on today, if I continue to challenge him and he keeps responding to the challenges, I think he'll be more than fine. He's plenty talented. He's proven on the field that he's capable. I think he just has to keep improving every day. And I don't mean that to avoid the question. I just honestly believe that.
What does the depth look like after those top three, where you're just dealing with a little bit more by way of youth? And I ask more in the sense, not knocking the young guys, Drew, but more in the sense of, if you're in 13 at goal line but somebody's down, who you turn to?
I feel very confident about where our young guys. I mean, like I said, like Roger's done a nice job. We've had guys like Zach Grace, who's come in from Kearney, Missouri. Has done a really good job for us. Right, he's growing. He broke his arm last year. He broke his forearm, and he's had to grow a bunch. So we got a young freshman in there, Cade Caden. That's done. He's swimming, right, drinking from a fire hose right now, but he's done a good job. So I think that no matter what, like if we're in 13 or if we're in 12 or in 11, I think we'll find a way to score. I think we got plenty of good players, not just at my position, but receiver and running back, and even like if we had to throw another offensive line out there, I think we'd feel good.
How do you get some of those younger, players ready, especially when you got two, veterans like Patrick and Terrence that are going to be taking a lot of the reps? How do you get them that experience, to get them ready for when their time comes next season?
You never know. It might be this season. Only the good Lord upstairs knows what's going to happen in the future. So we do a great job, Coach Lanning. At times it's hard on some of the players when we do two-spot practices, right? We run in two fields, and dadgum, Coach, I'm tired, right? And it's like, well, that's a whole lot better than standing on the sideline, right? So our program is geared to develop you. Like, if you're Coach Lanning says it all the time, if you're good enough, you're old enough, right? So let's get out here, and the only way to do that is to take reps, and you're not going to be able to do that just sitting on the sideline. So the two-spot practice stuff has been really, really effective for us, and allowing a lot of those, see what those young guys can do, right? Showing their weaknesses and helping us like focus as position coaches on where we can develop them.
Earlier in the spring season, you kind of said that you wanted to see the tight ends get the ball a little bit more. How would you kind of rate where that is at right now with fall camp?
I think, Coach Stein Will's done an awesome job of incorporating our guys. I think we catch the ball very, very well. And when you look at our passing game, it's been very complimentary. Those guys can all make plays, and so I think when you have a high level of distribution, it's hard to zero in on one guy. And so when you look at some of the names that can get out there on the field, right, it's exciting, and I think it's a lot freeing for the play caller. It is freeing for the play caller and for the rest of the guys that are on the field. Like, you don't have to make this play, like somebody else is going to make this play. And what does that do? That creates single coverage for you and things like that, and creates more opportunities. So the ball has been distributed all over the place, and we've watched everybody from Tez, Trayshawn, Evan, my guys. Justice Lowe's had a great camp. Kyler Casper's had a great camp. Jordan James, Noah Whittington, those guys, everybody, we've had we've seen a big distribution of the ball, and I think that really, really helps and takes a ton of pressure off and frees you up to just go play your game, and because you're going to get your opportunities.
Thanks,
Appreciate you guys.